Hello, Afro Beer Guru. Hey everybody, this is the Afro Beer Guru. Thank you very much for checking out this video. And if you like beer and you like weird dudes who talk about beer, this may be something you may want to subscribe to. So give it a little subscribe. And so on this channel, we are going to be exploring the world of beer. I've been into beer for a long time, so I'm really excited to share my love of beer and my personal experience. I'm not a beer maker. I don't make beer. I'm not the biggest technician or beer connoisseur, but I have some good stories to tell. What this episode is going to feature is a visit to Smog City in Torrance. Smog City is a really interesting brewery. They've really kind of made their place here in the California craft scene. I've had their beer before. I've always enjoyed their IPAs, and they're doing really good things. So today we're going to check them out, and we're going to try some of their beers. Let's do it. So what's up, y'all? We're here at Smog City Taproom. So far, super great vibe here. I'm really loving the music here. Some old school hip hop from the 90s. I grew up on that stuff, in middle school. So it's super fun to hear that playing over the radio. So what we're going to try right now is the Benny and the Bretts. This is something new that they have on tap. It's aged for 15 months in their 21 HL Sangiovese wine barrel and goes with 12 strains. It's a sour red rye. So as y'all know, I'm a huge fan of barrel-aged drinks of all styles, particularly if it's bourbon aged. It's a unique situation we have here. It's a beer aged in wine barrels. I think I'm super interested to try this one out. So I'm not a huge sour beer guy, but they certainly are interesting. There's a lot of really interesting sours out there. There's something about, I'm really into experiments, but I'm also really into what makes a beer really drinkable. Does it drink well? Is it tasty? Can you really enjoy it? And over time, it's something that you would reach for again. So I'm curious about really how this one's going to really sit as I drink it over the next few minutes, whether or not it's going to be like one of those experiments that I think is really drinkable. The wine element is very subtle in this beer. There isn't really a lot. I'm not really getting any tannins, if anything, super soft tannins. This is an interesting experiment. I can't say that I really find anything too gripping about it. Now I'm starting to taste a little bit of that wine barrel element. That wine, it's an oiliness that you find in certain wines. Yeah, that's really what I'm noticing right now is the oiliness around the mouth. I like the sweet character, super muted, super disciplined. It's actually quite pleasant. It's really quite pleasant to drink. So for a beer rated at 9.2 alcohol by volume, I would say it's pretty light body. It's a really fresh top note, kind of burst of kind of acidity, as you would imagine from a sour, but not too much. Yeah, wow. I'm starting to taste, smell some of the wine complexities. It really comes out towards as you drink it and you smell it more. And a lot of really good red wine has this. It's almost like this. What it makes you think is like salami, like savory meats. There's that quality to it, to a lot of really good wine or certain wine styles. And in this one, as you get deeper into it, I'm starting to get those flavors coming out of it. Oh yeah, it's really, as it sits, the wine really starts to come out. So how does this perform as a beer? That's kind of the question. What experience does one get from drinking this that they wouldn't get from drinking wine? That's, I think, the question. A good question to kind of think about. I would say, really, off the top of the head, we're talking about a more solid body, and I think a lot of the spritz and the carbonated quality of beer is really pushing a lot of these flavors forward. It's looking at wine from a different perspective. Super interesting, super interesting. The way that they described this guy was that it was a ripe fruit. And that's very much what I'm tasting here. Grapefruit, naturally, because it's a sour. But the sour quality is very. It's interesting. It's very drinkable. It's not overbearing. It's a more solid sour. Some sours are just too spritzy, too. I mean, where's the beerness to it? I mean, it's a category that that's pretty controversial. Really makes you wonder where beer begins and where beer ends. You can imagine someone who's used to drinking Modelo or Budweiser. What would they make of a sour? Is it a beer anymore? What makes it a beer, I think, is really just the body of it. And the beer quality is what makes this drinkable. Is that the fact that it's got this body and it's kind of this roundness that I think makes it enjoyable. This is really good, really quality craftsmanship by Smog City. Really, I'm a big fan of this guy. Thinking about grabbing a cheesesteak. This is really cool. Food truck. So we're changing gears a little bit, but not that much then. So I'm trying the California Love, a double hoppy red ale with Pinot Noir, orange, peel, and oak. So this is a little bit of a different experiment, still on that wine connection. Pinot Noir is one of the favorite, more generally loved grapes out there because of the complexity. There really is nothing like a good Pinot Noir. I'm kind of curious to see how this kind of performs in light of that. Yeah, cheers. Check this guy out. Look at that, man. Ooh, that looks super good. So in comparison to Benny and the Brett's we're having, it's definitely a lot more of that beer flavor, a lot more of that malt, that body on this one. The wine quality on this one is a lot more easily discernible, like a softness in the flavors. Everyone seems to be having fun. Barrel thing is a huge thing at these breweries, at least here in California, sitting around barrels, kind of like the barbecue kind of vibe. Super cool taproom. This is a really interesting experience. So what you're getting, at least what I'm getting, is on the top note, you're getting very much a beer maltiness, what you would imagine a hoppy red would taste like. But on the bottom note, you get this kind of, that's where the delicacy of the Pinot Noir really comes out. Instead of having wine and beer, just put them together. So this is definitely, I would say, maybe a little more of a boozier option, even though it has less alcohol by volume, but perhaps maybe a little bit out of balance. I would almost say I prefer the Benny and the Brett's because I think it's more of a natural marriage in the sense of we're coming at wine itself, using wine as the predominant quality and just making it a little bit weightier. I think here I would say in this is definitely a heavier beer. It's a little harder to really enjoy the qualities of the wine when you have a really heavy beer mixed in there. I can't help but feeling like, man, I'd rather just reach for a really good IPA or something maltier. It's kind of this a little something off balance about this guy. I imagine they're probably trying to bridge you know, the really burgeoning, really amazing California wine scene with the really amazing beer scene in this one. And it's an interesting experiment. I would recommend people try this one out. Both of these really, to see two different approaches. It's almost like two opposite approaches to combining beers and wine, and combining those two taste profiles. Benny and the Bretts, you're getting a wine-forward, beer enlarging flavor profile, and in this one you're getting a very with the California Love, it's more of a beer-forward, wine enriching quality to it. So two different approaches. When you're bringing two things that are so opposite to each other, you have to figure out how to, you know, should I have one element come forward? Should I have another element come, you know, sit back a little bit? But at this point, I would say that since wine is a more delicate flavor, it's more delicate fruit, more delicate process, I'd say it would make more sense to start with a wine forward, a sour quality. Sours are so light and gentle that it would make it seems more of an easier pairing than a hoppy red. There's something about hops that are just it's more of an explosive quality, you know, that burst of flavor, and I think that's kind of overwhelms the wine quality a little bit. Super glad I chose these two. I kind of chose these really off the recommendations of the beer makers at the register. I was just kind of, you know, just kind of looking at the menu, and I like to, you know, I don't like to come to breweries with any any expectations or any picked out ideas. I kind of like to just, you know, see what the beer quality is like. As you go from brewery to brewery, you kind of notice a different temperature to their process. Some breweries are really into minerality, experimentation. You know, others are into malt flavor, experts. There's a punch to Smog City. There's a punch to a lot of their beer that you don't really, you know, that you may not see as often in other breweries as much. There's this sophistication to this stuff that I really like, and it seems like they have a really good community. Local artists contribute to the look of their designs of their beer, actually, and the art at the actual brewery at the taproom here in Torrance. So it really feels like a very good local space. There's something about somewhat niche markets when they go into neighborhoods, like if you look like a boutique clothing store or like a niche beer market or you know, like a wine market, you know, like a wine shop or something like that. There's a question of how does that niche retailer or that niche company interact with the environment, and I think breweries are particularly good at that because they derive so many of the quality of the brewing, the quality of the materials are so much derived from the environment around them. So there's this really interesting interaction between breweries and the surrounding kind of culture. So right now, toward the end of this beer, toward the California Love, not really discovering anything new. It feels like the more you drink it, the further the Pinot quality kind of recedes. Still, though, I think overall you get that really broad, strong Smog City flavor quality to it. Something that I've learned to really love about Smog City is just the broad, really strong malt forward taste that a lot of this stuff has. Yeah. So as a way to kind of summarize, I would say, Smog City is super creative, super fun to visit. It was really cool to try two beers at the same brewery, kind of playing around with the same experiment, you know.